What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, or just welcome if you are new. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. In today's video we are in Newcrest and I am building a big happy family home. So this might sound a little familiar, and that is because I based this house off of the base game family aspiration, big happy family, and I love that aspiration. And I love building houses for that aspiration. And so I actually made this into a 3-generational house. So the family that lives here consists of grandpa, mom and dad, which grandpa is dad's dad. And then the parents have 4 children. They have 1 teen, 1 toddler, and 2 twin boys. And of course, no big happy family is complete without a family pet, and I decorated this house for a dog, but of course, like always, if you prefer a cat, you could just add a litter box and a little cat tree and call it a day. It's really not hard to swap it from a dog to a cat or vice versa. But in this case, I was thinking just a little family dog. But before we get any deeper into today's video, I would like to take a second to invite you guys to leave a like on this video if you do find it enjoyable in any way, and also subscribe if you have not already, and comment down below what your favorite part of today's build is. I really would love to hear from you all. And thank you all, as always, for taking the time to watch my videos and interact with me in the comments. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys so much. Alright, now with that being said, let's go ahead and get back into the build. So as you can see, we are on like a sideways lot. I don't build a lot on this particular lot. This lot you can find in the first neighborhood of Newcrest that has some of the smaller lots. I like to think of it as maybe maybe like the lower income households live over in this area, even though this is like a huge house. It's not cheap by any means at all, but that's just like the neighborhood that I think of. For some reason it just looks like it's the lower income families, and that's actually what I tried to do in my save file as well, which this is not a part of my save file, so I won't talk about my save file too much. But I will let you guys know, for those that do not know, I am building a base game only save file for Newcrest that only has 2 more builds to go. We are almost done, and then it will be ready to release. So if that sounds interesting to you, I have a whole playlist on my channel for you to check out. We have the residential lots, we have the community lots, and I also filmed myself making some of the families in my neighborhood. Of course, not all, but some of them are on there, so definitely go check it out if you are interested. But yeah, like I was saying, I really don't build too much on these like sideways lots like this, but I had a lot of fun building this one. It's really fun making more of a side yard rather than a backyard, if that makes sense. It's just kind of different, you know, so it kind of opens your horizons and you build a different style of house if the yard is kind of on the side like that. They have a good portion in the back too though. Like, this is a really good size lot, and honestly I love the way that this house came out. These bushes that I'm using are like my new favorite for sure. They are part of the get together pack, but they're in the debug catalog, and I did not know about these for like the longest time, and only here recently I discovered them in the debug catalog, and I like cannot stop using them. There's like a set of like super long bushes, and then there's a set of the smaller ones, and so they like fit perfectly in any spot that you need. I have a problem with some of the hedgerow bushes in base game, or any of the packs to be honest, is that they just are too long. Like, you need to have like the longer set, but then like a half set too, so that you can put it in smaller little corners, you know what I mean? And these do just that. Like, they're perfect. Hopefully this new nature pack that's coming out is going to have a really good selection of landscaping. I am super excited to be able to see the build by catalog. I think they're going to not really tease the build by catalog, but talk about and release pictures and images of the build by catalog in just a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember the exact date, but I think they're going in like, you know, different days they'll show different things. Like, they're going to show cast one day, they'll show build by one day, and then after the trailer, the gameplay trailer, they will show gameplay. So that's pretty interesting. I feel like that's kind of different. They usually do like one live stream showing it all. I think they realize they just don't have enough time showing everything in an expansion pack in like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And so yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I really am desperate for new landscaping, like I'm not even gonna lie. I tend to use the exact same landscaping for most of my builds, and I mean, that just is what happens. I have my go-to landscaping that looks good no matter the style of house you're trying to do. And it's just kind of like my comfort zone, I guess. But with that being said, I guess this landscaping is a little bit different. I'm using like those really big bushy bushes from Get Together, and you can kind of see them on the right side by those big tall trees, which those are from Get Together too. All of this landscaping right now is actually from the Get Together debug catalog, and I love those trees as well. They're different from like the base game version. These are a little bit lighter green and they look a little bit more realistic. Tell me if I'm crazy. They look a little bit more realistic, don't they, than the base game ones? I think they do. I don't think I'm crazy about that, but I might be. So let me know. But they really do look a little bit more realistic. I like how it has more texture and they're less perfect than the base game version. And so when I remember about these, I do like to use these. But yeah, we are taking a break on the landscaping. I like to get pretty much the bushes down that I know I'm going to want to use, and maybe the trees. And then I like to focus back on the house before I do any more landscaping, just in case I have to add or subtract a piece of the house, if that makes sense. It makes it easier to edit the house before you put too much landscaping against it. But I do like adding the little bit of landscaping I have just to get the detail there, and so it doesn't look so blank. But right now I am currently trying to figure out the colors that I want on the outside of the house. I mean, I pretty much have it together now. I struggled there for a little bit. I'm sure you guys noticed. I was like struggling on the windows, and then I was struggling on the flower boxes, and then I was struggling on the windows. Not really in that order, but pretty much all around the same time I was struggling on those three things. But I am very, very happy with the outcome I have now. I think these colors look really, really well together. It's like a medium brown with like a light tan, and then like that stone has both gray, light tan, and then like the medium brown color. So I think they really complement each other very, very well, and they match pretty good together. And that stone wallpaper, well, I'm calling it wallpaper because it's in the wallpaper category, but that stone like wall, I absolutely love that stone wall. That is like by far my favorite stone wall in the game, and that is actually from Growing Together. And ever since Growing Together came out, I have used that stone wall so much. I can't help myself. It's better than the base game. But if I'm using just the base game has a pretty good one too. It just has more like blue and gray undertones rather than like the beige and brown undertones. And that roof swatch that I'm using, I really don't use very often at all, but I am pretty confident in saying that that is pretty much one, if not my most favorite roof swatch that we have in the game. I love that color brown, to be honest. I don't use it enough though, because I have a hard time matching, the exterior walls with that roof. I don't know why, but this combination is like perfect. This is like the most perfect combination I've found for that roof color yet. And I'm really happy with the way that it came out. It looks so good. And I'm trying to keep these colors on the inside of the build as well. I like to do that if possible. I don't really like to have the outside a different color than the inside. I really like it to match and flow really well together. And that's just personal preference. I know that's probably not for everybody, but I think it flows better and it looks better, especially in The Sims. Like, you really can't tell in real life. If you have like a blue house on the outside, but inside you have like yellow, let's say, for an example. In real life, you don't really notice it, but in The Sims, you see it all at once. It's a lot more noticeable. So yeah, I mean, that's the main reason why I like to have the same colors indoors and outdoors. If I can help it. That doesn't always happen though. Sometimes I do like to switch it up and I like to make it a little bit different. If it's kind of like an eclectic build, or maybe it's for like fairies, I think are going to be super colorful. So if it's a super colorful house and it blends well together, that's different. But if it's like a stark contrast, like I can't even think of the colors. Like maybe like white on the outside and orange on the inside. I don't know. I just feel like that'd be weird. But then again, if it's modern, white and orange do work really well together. So I guess it's like a case by case basis. Not all builds are the same, and that's a fact. But yeah, anyways, we are on the floor plan now, and I actually have like an entry room when you first walk in. I think that's called like a foyer, right? And in that room is where you will find the staircase. I don't know why I have this thing about having the staircases right by the front door. I really like that for some reason. I seen it one time when I was like a kid. I went with my friend to her mom's friend's house, and she had like a townhouse, and I do not know why, but I thought it was so cool that her staircase was right by the front door. Like, I was so easily impressed as a kid, it's not even funny. But ever since then, I've been just kind of, not really obsessed with it, but obsessed with it, you know? And so I really like to do that in The Sims. I don't know, I think it looks the best, at least in my opinion. For my builds, it just makes the most sense to have the staircase right by the front door. I do try to change it up sometimes, and I never like it as much as I do when it is by the front door, you know? So yeah, we got the foyer with the staircase, and then after that you go straight into the kitchen, and I kind of have the kitchen up on a platform. You know me and my platforms, guys. I absolutely love to use them. And it looks like I must have exited without saving, and we lost a portion of our kitchen for some reason. I don't know what happened there, but we're replacing the furniture. That's fine. It's not a big deal. I really didn't notice that as I was editing this video though. That is super weird. But we are using the cabinet set from For Rent, and I love this cabinet set. I think I use it probably too often, but I absolutely love it, and I love this particular swatch. This swatch, and I love the swatch with like the green tops. I think it's so pretty. And I am also using one of the newer kits. It's like the kitchen clutter kit, and I love that kit. I know kits are not for everybody, and I get it. But some kits are pretty good. Like, you guys have to admit, some kits are pretty good. And that's the good thing about kits, is that you don't have to get all of them if you don't want to. But if you are like a major family player in The Sims, like your game consists of building your Sims' families, I think you'll really like the kitchen clutter kit. Or if you just like clutter in your house, then I think you'll really like the kitchen clutter kit. This fridge is probably my favorite thing in the pack, and that fridge is probably my favorite fridge in the game, to be honest. I really like how it has the different like drawings and notes and all of that stuff on the fridge. It looks so realistic, especially for a large family. And so this is a big happy family house. It works perfectly in this house. Along with that sink that's there, I like how it has a couple of dirty dishes in there. I mean, obviously you don't want that in real life, right? But in The Sims it's different. It adds that little touch of realism that I absolutely love. And I know this is a super tight kitchen, but I just hate building kitchens, and I don't add a kitchen island. I love a kitchen island in not only The Sims, but in real life too. I just love them in a kitchen. Like, I have a dream of having a house with an island. I used to have one in my old apartment, and then I rented a house when I lived in Tennessee, and we had one there, and I haven't had one since, and I love islands. I think it adds, you know, an extra detail that looks so pretty, and it also comes in handy so often. To be honest, it really does. And right now I am trying to place that little corner cabinet on the top. We needed something over in that corner. And I love using those corner pieces. of the upper cabinets. I just love to use those, and so I use them when I can. And I almost was not able to use it in this kitchen, but I came up with the idea of putting it over there. I know it's kind of random, but I feel like it kind of makes sense. And I'm also placing other random decorations, mainly from the kitchen clutter pack. Like, all of these little clutter pieces are from that kitchen clutter pack, and I love it. It makes it look so much more realistic. Like, you have those containers with like the airtight lids on them, and each swatch has like a different type of food in there. There's one that has like noodles, there's one that has like beans, and I think there's one with rice, and a bunch more that I can't remember. And then of course there's other container sets, and I sized one down so it looks like one's bigger than the other, but they're like a set together. And then those 3 little plants in the window above where, or below where I just put that fruit basket, that is also part of that kit. And I like to think that that's like a group of like herbs that this mom is growing, and she likes to use them in the dishes that she makes. She's actually like a really good cook, and she's really into cooking. Like, she loves cooking for her family. That's not her career per se. She is currently a stay-at-home mom, but she does have a dream of owning her own business running from home. And she really wants to start her own home business, making different like recipes and selling them to people. She's thinking about having like a little table set up out front and using that to sell her recipes. She's not 100% sure what she's going to do yet, but she's thinking about doing that as a start, and slowly but surely progressing to having like a little area set in the house somewhere, or maybe they could add on a different building outside somewhere, and she could have some tables and chairs and actually let her customers come in and eat. Or maybe she can have a little area outside with tables and chairs so her customers can actually sit down and enjoy the meal that they just bought from her, and maybe get to know her customers a little bit better that way. But yeah, it's just a really big dream of hers. She's wanted to do this for so long. Even before having kids, to be honest. Like, this has been a lifelong dream of hers, to own her own business and do what she loves to do, and that is to cook. And not just cook any old recipe. She actually has a family cookbook that she received from her mother, who received it from her mother. And this is actually a family recipe book from like multiple generations ago. Like, it was her great-great-grandma's cookbook. Her great-great-grandma is the one that started it, and it's been passed along to each daughter since then. And each person that owned the cookbook at the time added their own recipes. And so there's multiple generations of recipes in that book, and that is the business she's really wanting to start, is recipes from each generation plus her own, you know. And yeah, that is really what she's striving to do, and she really would love to do it, to be honest. But that is it for the little kitchen. I think that kitchen turned out so cute, and I love that little rug that I put in between the island and the other cabinets along the wall. I sized it down. I think that's from Seasons. I love that design. I think it is so pretty, and it has like the green vines and then like an orange vine, and I just love it. I think it goes so well with like brown and beige, which, you know, are the colors that I'm trying to stick with. And of course you need some sort of color in there, and I think green goes so well with those two colors. And we are now over into the living room, and the dining room is right off the living room as well. I almost did the circular table, but I don't know, I just think this one looks a lot better, and there's something about the circular one that just was looking a little bit weird to me. It just didn't fit in that area too well. But that one looks a lot better. And as far as the living room furniture set goes, that is actually from one of the more recent kits. I don't remember which one, to be honest, guys. I'm not even gonna try to remember, but it's one of the more recent ones. And even though I don't love that couch set, it's really easy to use, and it's not bad. I just really don't like how like blocky it looks, you know. And that's something that they do a lot of. They make a lot of these newer couches look pretty blocky. And that single seat that's there, I hate how there's no arms on it. Like, that would be so uncomfortable to sit there with no arms. Unless you're like me, and I do like to sit Indian style on a couch. I don't know why. That's just so comfortable to me. And so that seat does look like it'd be kind of more comfortable for Indian style sitters like me, since there are no arms on each of the couches. But sometimes you need that arm to like rest your arm on, you know? So I don't know. This is The Sims, and they don't rest their arms on the arm of the couch anyway, so it's fine. I do end up adding some pillows on the couch. So that's one good thing about these couches. They don't come with pillows in like a particular spot that's always there. I like how you can use the pillows from the Clutter catalog, and you could place it wherever you want to place it at. I wish we had more selection of pillows. That might be coming at some point, I'm sure it will, but we really only have like square pillows right now. I wish we had some circular pillows so we could really customize it. It is what it is. At least we have square pillows. We didn't have those for the longest time, so I'm thankful for what we have now. I don't want to complain too much. But that is pretty much it for the living room. I kept it pretty simple, to be honest. I have like a fireplace there with a TV above it. And then I do have a bookcase next to the fireplace and TV area, mainly because I needed to put something there, and that's the only thing that I really could think of. But also, we need bookcases in our Sims builds anyways. And then, of course, we have the coffee table, and I did my go-to on the coffee table that I do a lot, and I just put the magazine with the remote. I just feel like that is the most realistic you can get for coffee table decorations in The Sims. I don't know why, but that is my go-to. And then we are now over into the dining area, and I love that dining room set. I think it is so cute, and it fits perfectly in that area. And then I use that like bouquet flower set with like the vines under it. That is from Growing Together, and that fits so perfectly on any dining table. I love it. I was so happy when I seen that came with that pack. And then I added some mirrors right behind the table, and then I also added some pictures on the other wall that was there. And then we have the sliding glass door right there that leads to the backyard. And something that I've been doing a lot of is adding like, they're in the curtain set, but they're not curtains. They're like the long hanging blinds. And you find that a lot in real life on sliding glass doors. And so I have been doing that so much lately, and I love the way it looks. I'm not tired of it yet. I usually do the white blinds though, and in this case I ended up doing the beige blinds, and I thought it looked so good. It matched perfectly with everything else in the house. We are now working on the master bedroom. So this is for the parents, and the little, you know, those little frames with the little infant and the newborn, so cute. That is some of their kids. I don't really know which ones. They have like 4 of them, so 2 out of the 4. And I love those frames. I think they're so cute. I think it came in the nursery kit. And then I placed it on the dresser that's there, and I did put a computer table in their room. We really needed one in the house somewhere, and this is kind of the only place I could think of at the moment. I think I end up adding one upstairs in like the hallway, but for sure one in the parents' room. This is where Dad works if he works from home. He has the double monitors, and Dad is actually in the tech guru career. He's really into all things technology, and he loves what he does, and he's actually able to work from home more often than not. Like, that's the good part about being in a technology-based career, like an IT manager, IT director, IT something. Even like, you know, some companies hire this third-party company called like Help Desk, and you can just call them and say, listen, my computer's not working. Figure it out for me. And they'll figure it out for you, and it's great. And so that's kind of what Dad does. He is an IT manager, and he absolutely loves it. That is his passion for sure. So he is lucky enough to make money and support his family doing what he loves the most. So that is really the dream for everybody, and I wish that for everybody. I wish everybody was able to get a career that they actually love to go to every day, since, you know, you have to work to make money to live. You have to do it anyway, so you might as well like what you're doing, right? That's always the goal anyways, but we are now working outside a little bit again, and I'm adding some more landscaping. I also added some lighting around the house, and as far as the little bit of landscaping I did, I really was just, sometimes I bounce around the build. You guys, if you're a returning viewer, you know that. You know I bounce around a lot. I'm trying to be better about it, but I do still do it. And I just felt like I needed to add some flowers out there. And so I did. I added those white hydrangeas that I like to use. They're just so pretty. I love them. And you probably also noticed that I added a ladder outside. Well, it's like a piece of trellis. I added that because we do have a teen in this house, and I don't know why, but I really like the storytelling purpose of adding like a trellis there that the teen uses to sneak out, and her room is actually right by that trellis. So I thought that was kind of perfect, and I can just picture her sneaking out at night, walking down that trellis or climbing down the trellis and going and meeting her friends or maybe her boyfriend and just hanging out and being a teenager, doing what teenagers do best and walking around at night being rebellious. But I will talk more about the teen and the other kids once we get upstairs and we do their bedrooms. We are now over in Grandpa's room, and Grandpa's very outdoorsy, and he also loves working on the workbench that's there, and he loves just building things. Like, he is a builder through and through. That's what he did for his career. He just built things and sold them. And he worked in construction for a little bit, and he also, his passion, well, he has two passions: building and also fishing. He loves to fish, and that is why I added that the wall cabinets. I don't really know what you call those, to be honest. A hanging china cabinet, I don't know, but there's fishing lures in there, and those are his collectible fishing lures. He's never used them. They're strictly collectible, and he loves to look at them. And then he has a single bed there because it's just him, and then I added a dresser in there for him, as well as a TV, so that he can just hang out in bed when he's not feeling well, or he's just, wanting to get away from the loudness of the kids, and he just wants to hang out. He's able to hang out in there and watch his TV. He also has his own bathroom in there, which, talking about bathrooms, I will let you guys know there's two other bathrooms downstairs: the master bathroom and then the other hall bathroom that, the company of the house, they can go there, or maybe the kids, if the bathroom upstairs is being taken by one of the other kids, then they can go downstairs and use that other extra half bathroom. I think it's a half bathroom. But yeah, anyways, I cut those two out just because, they're bathrooms. There's nothing special about those bathrooms at all. They're pretty typical. I just put the typical stuff in there, and I figured this video's long enough. You guys aren't going to care if I cut out a couple bathrooms, right? I mean, it is what it is. Let me know down below if you really would like to see the basic bathrooms, and I'll add them. I'll leave them in next time, but I think I did you guys a favor this time and cut them out, because you've seen me do Grandpa's bathroom, and you're gonna see me do this one upstairs too, so at least you get to see a couple of them still. And I made them all relatively the same. But we are now in the teen's bedroom, and I actually gave her the bed from Love Struck, and it's the one that has the comforter set kind of half off of it. It's like the breakup bed or something. I love that for my teens rooms though. It screams teen to me. They're kind of sloppy, right? I just feel like it makes sense, and I think it's so cute. And so I ended up using that, and I used the purple swatch, and I made this room very pink, very purple, very blue. Those three colors pretty much are the theme of this room. And she actually got the tech gene. She's just like her dad, and she loves her technology, and she actually has a little part-time career when she's not in school, and she is a streamer. She streams playing The Sims, actually. And she also has a little PlayStation there that she uses, and she likes to invite her friends over, and they just hang out in her room and play some games, and that's really what she loves to do. She is just very into technology and playing games and stuff like that. She hopes one day to make a full-time career out of her streaming career that she has right now, like just the part-time one, but she really, really loves doing it. She hopes one day she'll be able to make it full-time. If not, then she really would like to keep it as part-time and maybe do what her dad's doing and be like an IT manager and then still do the streaming on the side. She just really loves doing the streaming at the moment. And I put a tapestry behind, or tapestry, guys, I still don't know how to pronounce that word, forgive me. I put it behind the bed though, and then I put some string lights on top of it. I love that. I used to have that in my room. Actually, I still do. I'm not even gonna lie, like I still haven't grown out of that. I have a tapestry in my room right behind my bed, and then I have like string lights on top of it, and I love that combination. I think it's so cute. And then right next to the tapestry, I added some of those snowboards or like skateboards without the wheels. I think that's from like Parenthood or something. We've had it for a while, but there's some really, really cute swatches on those skateboards / snowboards, whatever they are, and I love to use them in my teens builds. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I really tried to make it like a typical teens room, and I think I did a pretty good job. It's super cute. And like I said, there is the trellis like on the second level leading down to the first level, and the teen uses that all the time to sneak out, and her parents are like oblivious, like they don't even know. They might find out one time though, like if you do download this and you actually like have a family that consists of how I decorated this house, like you have the grandpa, the parents, you know, the 2 twin boys, the toddler, and then the teen girl. You know, you could totally have that as like a storyline where like the teen, she's so used to sneaking out every day, she might start getting sloppy, you know? And then either grandpa or the parents catches her one time. I feel like grandpa though, I feel like he would kind of turn a blind eye. He would be like, well, you better be back and don't let me catch you again. I feel like that would be grandpa all the way, and he would never tell mom and dad. Like he has that type of relationship with these kids. But now if mom and dad catches her, that's a whole different story. Like she's grounded for the rest of her teenage life probably. But that would be like such a fun storyline. That's why I love to add the trellis and have the whole sneak out thing. I really wanted to add the window where she could use the window to sneak out and then go down the trellis, but I don't know, guys. I don't like those windows. I think they're kind of ugly. But they do match the new recent base game windows that we've received, so I don't know. I just can't use them. They're like super hard for me to use, and I don't know why. But yeah, so we also got the twin boys room done, and I kept like a solar system theme going on there. I do that a lot in like my kids' rooms, but I think it's super cute. I really do. And it's kind of easy to do because a lot of the swatches for kids' rooms, like those beds that are there and then that rug, they match perfectly. So it's hard not to keep that theme. And I also do like a dinosaur theme a lot. And it's kind of the same reason. The beds match so well with the rug, so. But yeah, so the twin boys, they do share that room. I mean, it sucks that they have to share the room, but it's kind of given because they are twins, and they do have a really good relationship. Like, they are best friends. They're not only twins, they're not only brothers, but they are best friends. They're like inseparable. Like, they are exactly the same. And they are really into the solar system, obviously. Probably didn't need to, you know, explain that one. But yeah, they're really into the solar system, and they really like to build their mental skill. But they also like to play outside and be really active as well. And they like to exercise their mind and their bodies. They like to do both. And they also like to play video games at the same time. Like, they are the type of kids that like to do it all. And to be fair, playing video games actually does exercise your minds. I know not everybody thinks that way, especially like the older generations and stuff. I know my parents did not think that growing up. They thought it, you know, kind of made your brain mush, I guess. But there are games out there that really exercise your mind, and one of those is Zelda. And I'm a huge Zelda fan. But any sort of like adventure game that has like puzzles and stuff that you have to figure out, they exercise your mind big time. Like, Zelda's kind of hard sometimes, and not hard like fighting, you know, the monsters and stuff, but figuring out the different puzzles can be so hard. I have to cheat and look it up online. I'm not even lying, but you know, it's part of the fun. Sometimes I can figure it out, but when I can't, I don't like to sit for hours trying to figure it out. I like to cheat. But yeah, like, video games really do exercise your mind. But also, on the subject of the twin boys' room, I wanted to make it realistic, like a boy child's room, much less really any child, to be honest. I wanted to make it kind of messy. And so I pulled out the little clutter set. I think it's from Parenthood. And it has like the book bag, and it has like a jersey and socks and paperwork from school just spread out, like they just pulled it out and threw it all over the place. I really like that. I think it's super realistic. And I did make my Sim get up on the top bunk just to make sure she could step over that clutter set, and she can. And that is why I have, you know, a half naked Sim getting on the top bunk. I don't know. I didn't realize she was half naked as I was building this, but now looking back, she is, and she's just over there like in her underwear. Just don't look. If it bothers you, just don't look. It's fine. And then I got the toddler room done. The toddler room's very typical. I'm not the best at toddlers' rooms. And same with like infants' rooms. Like, I feel like I stick with the same theme. And this theme just happens to be like, I got some posters on the wall that has like a lion and different like zoo animals and stuff like that. And then I stuck with the same colors. And so there's not really a theme there, but there's a little bit of a one, and it's mainly just like the colors, and I stuck with like blue and green. I tried to keep it kind of gender neutral so you could decide which gender of toddler you wanted to be in that room, and I think it's pretty cute. It does have yellow walls. I don't know, it almost looks more for like a little boy, but you could have a little girl in there too. I mean, zoo animals, that's pretty gender neutral in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's super simple, but I do think it came out relatively cute. And of course, I put like toddler skill building items in there. I have the toy box, which I'm pretty sure that raises the creativity skill, right? Maybe not. But I do have like the blocks in there. And then I did put a toddler potty somewhere in one of the bathrooms. I think this bathroom upstairs, I ended up adding the toddler potty. And then I did not forget to add the high chair by the dining table either. Sometimes I do, so when I don't forget, I get super excited. And then in the hallway, I did add an additional computer just to have that additional one in case grandpa or one of the kids, they want to use a computer. They don't have to go downstairs to mom and dad's room, and of course they're not going to use their sister's computer. That is a no-go for them. She would never let them in her room, much less touch her stuff. And so they can use that computer in the hallway upstairs. But that is it for the inside of the house. We are officially done with the inside, and I think it turned out super cute, and I love the fact that it's for a big happy family. I love building houses with that theme. It's like my favorite, to be honest. I'm just a huge family player in The Sims. Like, if I am playing the actual game, which I really don't do as often as I would like, but if I do, then I am playing with families. It doesn't matter if I'm playing with like occults, then I'm gonna have an occult family. Whether it's werewolves or whatever, I will have an occult family. That's like a must for me. I don't know why. That is just how I played The Sims 2 growing up, and so that's how I think of The Sims now. But there's so much more to do other than just like family gameplay. That's just my go-to, and so I love to build family houses. That's like my favorite. Or if I build community lots, it's pretty much a community lot based off of families, I've come to realize. Not always, but a lot of the time it is. Unless it's like a nightclub or a bar or something, of course. And yeah, so as far as the design goes for outside of this house, I really wanted to fill it up with a lot of landscaping, which I pretty much did. And I also kept a little area blank where the trellis is, and it kind of looks like it's used a lot, right? So the teenager, she sneaks out so often that she kind of killed some of the bushes that were there, and that's the vibe I was going for anyways, and that's why it's kind of blank there. And I also add some terrain paint towards the end to make it look extra walked on. I don't want any sort of grass there. I want it to look obvious. And so that's what I meant by she's getting a little bit sloppy. She's starting not to care. I mean, it's so obvious that someone's walking over there. I don't know how the parents can miss it, but they do. And I outline each of the areas where the landscaping is in the backyard with the, like, garden trim. That's what I like to call it anyways. And I really like the way that that looks. It looks super manicured, and I've been doing it a lot lately, and I really like the way it looks. It looks so pretty. And then I, of course, added a pool. I love adding pools in my family builds, especially in a big yard. It kind of takes up a lot of space, which is needed. And I added a couple of pool floaties in there. I love to add that pizza one when I do have kids in the house. It just looks like kids would love that. And I must be a big kid because I would get that in real life. I'm not even lying. And this area right here where the lounge chairs are, listen guys, I don't love the way that that area came out. I'm really kind of disappointed with the way that the area came out. I just really did not know what else to do. You'll see here in a little bit, obviously it doesn't stay the way that I had it, but it's such a big area that I really ran out of ideas on what to put there. I do move those lounge chairs over in the corner closer to where like the landscaping and the bushes is on the left side. I almost put that toddler pool out there. I think I might have left it out there. It took up some room. It's such a big area. I have a table over on the other side, so I didn't want to add another table. And so, yeah, I kind of just ran out of ideas when it came to doing that area. So forgive me if you do download this and you don't like that area. I do not blame you. Just, rearrange it and add stuff that you want there. And it's almost like a clean slate for you to add what you want there. It's kind of perfect if you think about it. No, I'm just joking. That's just an excuse for my inability to figure out how to decorate this area. I could have done a way better job, I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah, I mean, you can't be perfect every time, I suppose. I even tried adding a little bit more sidewalk on the other side of the pool right there, just to see if I could add more lounge chairs. I really wanted to add more than just 2 since it's such a big family that lives here, but I wanted more grass, and by adding more sidewalk, it took away some grass that I wanted, and I didn't like the look of that either. So it defeated the whole purpose. And so I just went away with that idea. And so I take a break from this area in just a moment, and I end up adding some playground equipment for the kids over in the grassy area. And I end up adding just like a swing set with some monkey bars, and I think I add a slide for the toddler as well. And then I do some terrain paint at the end and make it look really like walked on and played in. And that's something I like to do, is adding a lot of terrain paint under the playground equipment to make it look more realistic. With it just being on grass and adding no terrain paint, it looks a little weird to me just because it looks unused. Like, if kids are using playground equipment, it's not gonna have perfect grass unless the grass is fake, of course. But you know me, I do like realistic things in The Sims, so I have to add terrain paint or else it just looks off. But that swing set that I used, it is from Growing Together, and I absolutely am obsessed with that swing set. I love how there's like string lights around it, and that particular swatch I don't use often, so I was really happy that I was able to use it in this build, and it matched so good. And it's wooden, and so I was figuring, since Grandpa loves building things, Grandpa actually built that swing set for them and the monkey bars that are there. The monkey bars, I used the brown swatch, and it kind of looks wooden. And so yeah, I kind of figured that Grandpa built their playground equipment, and they absolutely love it, and they were able to customize it however they wanted. They were able to add stickers when Grandpa was done, and of course the string lights. And as far as the patio furniture right here goes, I added a grill, and now I'm adding some like grilling utensils and barbecue sauce and stuff next to the grill, trying to make it look a little bit more realistic. And then I added the lounge chairs. We kept the toddler pool, and I added like a play box for the toddler, and that is pretty much it. I really am not super happy with the way that it turned out, but it's not bad at the end of the day either. And we are now adding some last minute terrain paint. We are pretty much done with the build now, guys. I really hope you did enjoy today's build, of course. If you have not already, please leave a like on this video so it helps the algorithm kick this video out to other simmers, and also subscribe if you have not already. I really hope you all have an amazing day or night wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!